up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're gonna be doing the match preview for Barcelona versus Valencia in La Liga. That's right, the season's not over yet. It feels like it's been like a month since the Clasico with Xavi's, announcement of staying and all these transfer rumors. I feel like I've aged about 5 years, but we're still in the current season and we still need to secure second place in La Liga for the extra money and of course participation spot in the Spanish Super Cup next season. Big game ahead for this game, ahead of the huge game the upcoming weekend against Girona, where it's going to be second versus third place respectively. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Kickoff time for this match will be taking place at 9 p.m. local time, so your regular kickoff time in La Liga, but not your regular day, of course, this game being played on a Monday. And this match will be taking place at the Lluís Companys Stadium in Montjuic. I don't expect it to be filled too much. Again, mood isn't the greatest after the catastrophe last week on a Monday as well. If we can get over 60%, I'll absolutely take it. And the referee for this match has also been confirmed. On the pitch, it is Ricardo de Borgas, who Xavi has claimed is the best referee in La Liga, and on the VAR it is Santiago Jamilater. Let's start off by taking a look at the league table, where Barcelona are currently sat in third place in La Liga on 70 points after playing 32 matches. We have 21 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. You look at our last 5 games in the league, 4 wins and 1 loss. Now, of course, since we're playing on a Monday, everyone around us has already played. I think Girona beat Las Palmas yesterday 2-0. Real Madrid beat Real Sociedad on Friday 1-0. Atletico Madrid beat Athletic Club yesterday 3-1 as well. So the league table, us in third, doesn't look too great. 1 point off Girona. If we get a draw or a win this game, we go back into second place. Of course, league title is done. We're 14 points behind right now, and then of course 11 on paper if we do win our game in hand. But of course, the objective for the remainder of the season is to finish in second place. There's been reports coming out saying that despite no trophies left to compete for, President Joan Laporta does not consider any other scenario than finishing second place in La Liga. The last few league games, especially the one against Girona, are vital to go to the Spanish Super Cup and for the image of the club. Some players in the dressing room also know that their future could be decided in these next few games of the season. So again, we need to finish second place to have a participating factor in the Spanish Super Cup. If we do finish second place and we do go to Spanish Super Cup, I think in the semi-final we face Athletic Club, who are the winners of the Copa del Rey, and Real Madrid will take on Real Mallorca, who are the finalists in the Copa del Rey. So we're probably going to get an El Clasico Super Cup final next season as well, but of course we got to qualify in order to be there. So again, season's not quite dead yet. We've got on paper, of course, 6 more games. I think we can probably dead the season off in the next 3 games, with our next 3 games against Valencia, Girona, and I think Real Sociedad. Second place is pretty much guaranteed at that point. Then we can say the season is officially dead. It's been officially dead since the end of January in terms of trophies, but hopefully we can salvage something to end off this season. Now, if you take a look at our opponents in Valencia and where they're currently standing in the league table, they're currently sat in 8th place in La Liga on 47 points. After playing 32 matches, they have 13 wins, 8 draws, and 11 losses. You look at their last 5 games in the league, 2 losses, 2 wins, and a draw. Honestly speaking, for Valencia, their squad, their manager, and their expectations, they're having a brilliant season, being in that top half in La Liga and somewhat competing a little bit for those, Europa League and Conference League positions. Let's now take a look at our opponents in Valencia. Like I mentioned so far this season, for their expectations, I think personally they're doing fairly well. They're performing great. They're getting results as well. Of course, from their last 2 or 3 seasons, pushing and fighting for a bit in the relegation zone. They've had a great season, of course, in the top half of the Liga and gotten some impressive results this season as well. One of them being the last time we faced them, of course, and that is 1-1 draw at the Mestalla. I believe this took place in December at some point. I think it was just before the Christmas break, if I'm not mistaken, but I think, this game wasn't that great from Barcelona whatsoever. It was the first game where I think we saw this midfield 3 of De Jong, Gundogan, and Pedri. We were all drooling over it because it was kind of playing somewhat decently in that game, but since then it hasn't really been the same. Of course, Joao Felix scored the opening goal. Then I think it was, who made the mistake? was it Koundé, Pedri, maybe Frankie? Someone made a mistake and then we ended up conceding, which was very annoying. I think it was a very professional performance from Barcelona. They were trying to go for that 1-0 trademark Xavi win, but we conceded. I think, or maybe it was an Araujo mistake. Someone made a mistake and they ended up scoring, which of course was disappointing. It was pretty much end-to-end game. Both teams had decent chances, and of course, you could say on paper a draw was the fair result. Now you take a look at Valencia's last 6 games in all competitions. In their last match, they lost to Betis 2-1. They beat Osasuna 1-0 away. They also beat Granada 1-0 away. They drew 0-0 with Mallorca. They lost to Villarreal 1-0, but they did beat Getafe 1-0. So up and down performances, but they're getting good results against, the decent sides in La Liga this season. But let's take a look at the last 3 matches in all competition. Firstly is that 1-0 win against Granada, who of course are battling relegation, but again, away from home, it is still a solid result. Again, they do play in the 4-4-2, which I feel like they've been playing now for the past 10-20 years. I have never seen Valencia play any different system. But yes, very, very good performance from them, mainly from their goalkeeper, of course, Lewandowski, who had a great performance in this game. Again, it was a game where you expect Granada to be on top a little bit, especially with them, fighting for their lives and being in that relegation zone and being at home as well. But Valencia managed the game very well. Their outside backs didn't really perform to the expectations that we expect from them. But again, their midfield did hold out pretty strong, and that, of course, earned them the 1-0 victory. Next up is their 1-0 win against Osasuna, and this for me was very impressive. Of course, Osasuna is kind of known to be one of the most hostile atmospheres in La Liga. Andre Almeida getting the goal, of course. It was what you call a professional performance from Valencia. They competed fairly well, evenly matched up. I think on paper both these teams are fairly even as well. Once they got the goal though, they just sat back and soaked it all up like no tomorrow, and they defended pretty well for that last 15-20 minutes. So credit where it's due, especially in a tough atmosphere, tough environment. They've gone out there and they've gotten 3 massive points. But their final match in all competition was a 2-1 loss to Betis. Now this did take place at the Mestalla, where you expect maybe them to compete a little bit better. I did watch this game, and I tell you what, the 2 goals from Jose Perez for Betis to get the brace were very avoidable. I think the Valencia goal was a penalty, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I can see the number 18 there, Papu getting the penalty. Valencia honestly didn't create too many chances in this game. They were quite dull, especially in the final third, where hopefully they are the same in this game. Again, it was more so of Betis not really finishing their chances. They had quite a few. Again, the 2 goals that Jose Perez scored weren't that great, but the chances they missed probably would have been better if they scored those, if you know what I'm trying to portray there. But I think their fullbacks, Valencia, had a decent game in Correa and Vasquez. They had a lot of space with Betis' narrow midfield. But again, Valencia didn't really have much going forward. They didn't create too many chances. And in the end, I would say personally, rightfully lost 3 points in this match. So overall, final thoughts on Valencia. I would say they're a fairly decent side, especially in La Liga this season. They're very well managed by their manager, Ruben Baraja, who's done a fairly good job with them, especially in terms of the personnel that he does have available to him. Again, it's a team that's very conservative. They're very, very strong, especially in that midfield, as they try to outnumber you in the midfield with the 4-4-2. And they do have some decent players. I would say their best players, definitely Lewandowski in goal, of course, was touted out by Bayern Munich last summer. Very, very good goalkeeper. Correa at the fullback position, I've always rated. Guillem in the midfield as well. Hugo Doro up front. It's not like the Valencia of old, where you can probably name off their whole entire starting lineup and bench. It's a very much a young team that's performing at a very high level and above their expectations this season. I think on paper Valencia should be I would say between 11th and 15th in La Liga, but they're now pushing above their weight, 8th and 7th, and sometimes they're, in the European spots this season. So credit where it's due. Of course, the Jose Gaya is one of their best, probably the best player for them. Whether he's going to be available for this game or not remains to be seen. But again, a team that can be dangerous and that Barcelona should not take lightly whatsoever. Now, coming into this match, we do have one fitness update in regards to Pedri. Of course, no one is injured right now apart from Gavi and Balde, who are being out for the rest of the season. Everyone else is fully fit. But over the past week, Pedri has not been training with the first team. If you see the videos that Barcelona releases on social media and the photos as well, Pedri is nowhere to be seen in them. And Ferran Martinez came out saying that Pedri has not trained with the group this week, but it is expected to be ready for the game against Valencia. Barcelona is being careful with the young midfielder after his recent recovery from injury and his performances against PSG and Real Madrid. Now, of course, he did train this morning. He took part in the full training session, which of course is good, but coming into this game with only one training session is something to keep an eye out for as well. So he did miss the entire week as a precaution. precaution. He's not injured. He's not been announced, no an injury announcement from the media or from Barcelona. And of course, this morning he did complete the full training session. Time now to get into the press conference reaction of Xavi Hernandez. Of course, his press conference this morning wasn't asked too many questions for the media. It was a fairly short press conference for the Xavi/Barcelona standard, but again, he gave us some big insights. Let's gonna see what the future manager had to say in the presser. Came out starting off by saying that we trained very well. I've seen the team very involved. People want to win. I'm excited, and with all the energy in the world. Firstly, as on the transfer market, of course, the rumors since Xavi's announced that he was saying have been absolutely wild. And Xavi said that we are all united. Nothing will change. There is a consensus with Deco, with the president. We are pending the 1-1 rule, but there is still season left to play. On transfer planning and guarantees, Xavi said the confidence that Deco and Laporta give me, they are very optimistic. Here's the kicker. Last season, not being able to carry out what we planned greatly conditioned us. So Xavi, they're saying that we had an absolutely shite window last summer. Again, in terms of personnel that we've got wasn't the greatest, and getting, 2 of those deals done at the very last hour of the transfer window, especially those big players that Xavi asked for, Joao Cancelo at the beginning of the summer and didn't get him until the last hour, again, says enough, and also kind of, affects Barcelona's season as well. Now, it was asked on the future of Victor Roque. There's been a lot of reports on Victor Roque saying that, he could be loaned out if Barcelona cannot register him for the upcoming season, and Xavi said that we have not decided anything yet. More to follow. He's then asked, of course, on Pedri, who wasn't trained the entire week but trained today, saying that he will be on the squad list tomorrow, 100% to help the team. He is available. Again, no injury for Pedri. He then asked on finishing the season, saying that on the contrary, by not having done our homework, we have given an extra. We want to be finished second, which entitles us to be in the title next year. Then asked on the Euros and Copa America this summer, saying that we'll have them on the latest at the end of July and the beginning of August. It is an intense summer, but we will be able to prepare for it. Now, on the physical trainers, of course, there have been a lot of reports about changes to Xavi's coaching staff, one of them being Raul Martinez. He said that Raul Martinez has worked since the first day I was the coach. We have not made any changes in the physical or technical area yet. When there are changes, we will announce them. Now, Raul Martinez being part of, not part of it, but helping the physical aspect of the Barcelona squad for the whole entire time that Xavi's been here, doesn't really make sense why the media is really hyping up his arrival. Anyways, more on Victor Roque. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty on Victor Roque's adaptation. Xavi said that we will decide at the end of the season what is best for each player. It is not easy to arrive from Brazil and, decide. It takes time to adapt, but he needs the time. At the end of the season, I will decide. There is no way we're gonna loan Victor Roque. The whole point of bringing him in January was to speed up and begin that adaptation period. Imagine if he joined in the summer, which was originally announced, of course, last summer. Then what? I think loading up Victor Roque is absolutely idiotic, but I will speak about that more in depth in the transfer video, which will come out on Tuesday, I believe. Xavi was then asked on the contract renewal of Sergio Roberto, and Xavi said, I want him to renew, and it depends now on him. He knows my position. He helps us a lot, and I hope he renews. So Roberto, si queda, I will tell you that right now for free. And finally, Xavi was asked on the future and also the unavailability of Frenkie de Jong, and he said that he's a fundamental footballer, very important for me. He changes absolutely nothing. Frenkie has been misfortunate with having 3 ankle injuries this season, and it's a shame because he was at a very high level before getting the injury. So Xavi there saying that Frenkie de Jong is an absolutely fundamental player for him, and wait and see what happens this summer in regards to his future. But that concluded Xavi's press conference reaction ahead of the match against Valencia tomorrow. Let's now get into the lineup prediction. We're going to start with the manager, of course, Xavi Hernandez. I'm going to try my best to predict his lineup. I think it will be fairly simple to predict, barring maybe 1 or 2 changes. I think Xavi will go essentially full strength for this match. I think he'll go with Ter Stegen in goal, a back 4 of Koundé, Araujo, Cubarsí, and Joao Cancelo, midfield 3 of Christensen, Gundogan, and Fermin Lopez, and a front 3 of Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Raphinha. Of course, we just had a week off after losing the Clasico. We've had nothing but training sessions. No one is injured. Everyone's fully fit and fresh, ready to go. Why won't Xavi not play his full strength side? Of course, we still have an objective to finish second place in La Liga. I think the back 5 is pretty concrete. Yes, Cancelo has been woeful the past few weeks, but who's going to come in for him? I don't think Xavi will start Hector Fort. we've got no one else. We've literally got no one else. In the midfield three, I think, of course, Christensen and Gundogan will start. And I think that other position is where the question mark comes in. It could be Sergio Roberto or it could be Fermin Lopez. I think if he's going for like replacement, of course, Pedri's not injured. Let's make that very clear. But I think that Pedri will not start the game due to his inactivity in training over the recent weeks. I think the mindset of Xavi is. I think he'll go with either Fermin Lopez or Sergio Roberto. I think it will be Fermin to have that kind of like-for-like creativity, especially in the final third replacement like Pedri. Front three of Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Raphinha. I don't see Joao Felix coming in. Maybe Ferran can give one of the front three a rest. Of course, Victor Roque will not start the game as per loan reports recently. So, barring this lineup, I think maybe the only change could be Roberto for Fermin Lopez, and that is it. I mean, again, the starting lineup for Barcelona is becoming more and more quite clear, especially with the injuries that we do have as well, and we don't really need rotation at the moment either. So, again, if Xavi makes more than 2 changes to this lineup, I genuinely would be very, very shocked. And I would like to say as well, my Xavi predicted lineup conversion rate is astoundingly fantastic this season. I think I have like a 95% accuracy. I think I've only missed out on his lineup like a couple of times. So, barring one change from this team, I think this would be the lineup that Xavi Hernandez will select for tomorrow's match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think Xavi will go with. Now I'm going to show you guys my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach, and I have made a few changes from Xavi's lineup just to make it a bit more interesting. I get it, it's supposed to be a game that we have to win, but I'm just here for some, I want to see some new players. I want to see some rotation. I want to see players get opportunities. We're at home against Valencia. Of course, in the Girona game this upcoming weekend, I would go full strength. But in this game, I want to see some experiments. So I've gone with Ter Stegen in goal, a back four of Koundé, Araujo, Inigo Martinez, and Hector Fort. Midfield three of Christensen, Gundogan, and Fermin Lopez. And a front three of Ferran Torres, Victor Roque, and Joao Felix. So of course the midfield three exactly the same, so I'll stick with that. In the back five, I personally would bring in Hector Fort for João Cancelo. I think he's been that shocking, and I personally was thinking about bringing Cancelo at right back just to give him a run in his natural position, to give him some confidence and rest Koundé. But I figured Koundé is doing so well, I wouldn't take him out of there. I'd give Kubarsi some rest. Of course, he did play a lot of consecutive games, PSG, Cadiz, PSG, Madrid, so he can maybe use a bit of rest. And of course, Inigo Martinez now is back from suspension, back from now starting the big games. I'll give him the nod with Araujo. In the front three, I think the main thing for me is giving Lewandowski a break. You can play Raphinha or Lamine Yamal. I personally wouldn't mind. But I want to just make sure they're really, really safe, really, conserve them a little bit for the Girona game. I would definitely bring them on as substitutions in this game to keep their match sharpness and rhythm up. But again, I want some excitement. I want to see Ferran Torres get a run in the team after, he had some great form before his injury. Joao Felix, we know in a game that's a bit more open and maybe some chance can be created. We know he can do some damage. And Victor Roque, because of course Victor Roque. And that's the line that I will select for this match. But of course, in the comments down below, let me know if you'd rather pick my lineup or Xavi's lineup. Time now for my score prediction. What do I believe the result will be in this match? I've gone with the Barcelona win by 2-0. I think it mainly comes down to Xavi staying. There's a bit of excitement, a bit of hype around it. We're at home on a Monday, a week off. There should be nothing than a routine victory for Barcelona. I've gone with the clean sheet as well, mainly because we had a good clean sheet streak until, of course, the Clasico game. So hopefully that Barcelona have that mindset to continue that streak again. I think Valencia can be a dangerous side, but if we just keep it very, very tight at the back and, perform at the level that I expect from, the likes of Araujo, Inigo, Kubarsi, Koundé, whoever really starts in the game, I'm fairly confident they can keep a clean sheet. And it comes down to, of course, the front three scoring. And with my lineup expected for Xavi, with Lamine Yamal, Raphinha, and Lewandowski, I expect there to be goals as well. Don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I will say this, though. I think if Valencia score first, we're dare I say, cooked. Because once they score first, they're going to sit back and soak it all up like tomorrow. And we've seen their games against Osasuna, against Granada, when they get that goal and they just lock it up. Very, very difficult to break it down. So I'm fairly confident that Barcelona will win. How and what score is where the question mark comes in. But I've gone with the Barcelona winning this game by 2-0. And of course, in the comments down below, let me know what you think the scoreline will be. So that was a match preview for Barcelona versus Valencia in La Liga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. But the main thing I want to first see, of course, is your score prediction, and secondly, on those lineups. Firstly, would you rather pick my lineup or Xavi's lineup? What do you think Xavi would go with? What would you go with? You're the manager. Leave me all your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along. Set the reminder on the screen and come and join me, watch the game with me. Follow, share after the match, buy my match reviews. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's get some hype back in here. Hopefully we can get a good performance, good result ahead of that big game against Girona this upcoming weekend. So I'll see you guys then. Take care and Forza Barca.